Want some? Get some. Can I get a hell yeah? Yes, I am a pirate. You have to go with the pirates because, of course, they have cannons and everything. It's a pirate's life for me. Be proud of who you are and what you are. You're a pirate.
It is a first down. Pirates.
Because when you're at East Carolina, you go for it every time. Or you don't coach at East Carolina, you don't come to East Carolina, you don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it.
I think I've ever been in a building as loud as that was. It was deafening in there.
You will get to Omaha. I can promise you that. And it's purple all night long in Eastern North Carolina.
You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.
My heart is purple and gold. I'm a pirate down of my soul, and I don't back down, not at all. Find out when the cannons explode.
All right, welcome into Extra Innings right here on the Sports Objective. As the Pirates lose one, win one, and tie one, we'll be talking about that. And by the way, I'm going to bring in Kyle from LaGrange Barber. Do you know what next Sunday night is, Kyle?
It's Sunday.
Right, but what date is it?
Hell, I don't know.
It's actually March the 1st. And March 1st means next Sunday night you can bring a lot of anniversary gifts. It's our 8th anniversary of our show next Sunday night while we're doing Extra Innings. So, and the guy that's been with me, I think you only missed one episode. He's been with me every step of the way, Kyle from LaGrange. So that's why I want to bring it up.
One episode.
I missed last week's episode. Our last episode.
I know. I'm just talking about like he was with me like the first episode. I pre-recorded everything and we released.
Oh, what he's saying is he started the show one episode before I joined.
Okay.
Before I was part of the podcast. But to say, good Lord, I've missed a shitload of episodes.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. 8 years next Sunday. So for the podcast. So yes, big milestone.
Kyle, here's what I'm thinking, Kyle. Next Sunday night, the way they can, we are asking for gifts. We're doing it tonight too. You don't have to wait till next week. Do the super chats. Give us money in the in YouTube.
Give us money. Yeah, just give us money.
We don't have
if you're a fan of the show and you enjoy it, we do appreciate the super chat donations. But next Sunday night, the 8-year anniversary. But more importantly, Pirates and the Tar Heels. That's what people are tuning in for. Pirates. Obviously, Friday night was embarrassing. Saturday was embarrassing for the Tar Heels. Nice bounce back by the Pirates. And the day was a tie. If they'd have pushed first pitch up by an hour, started at 12, we'd have been able to get most. It would have been final, whatever the score was. If it would have been tied, whatever, we'd probably been able to get the whole game in. But they didn't. And the right thing was to end it at that time because of the weather. Ends in a tie. I think when you look at it, tie, they always say it's like kissing your sister. I think more positives away from this than negatives. We needed some momentum after the start we had, losing 2 out of 3 to Xavier, then losing to Campbell. So we beat Northern. We won Saturday, blew out the top 10 team. And then we tied today. So I think we carry a lot of momentum and a lot of confidence out of Chapel Hill, even with the tie today, not a win. But I do think we carry a lot of momentum and a lot of confidence heading into midweek against College of Charleston and then next weekend with Rutgers, Troy, and Western Carolina coming to town. So I think overall it's a positive weekend, even with the tie today and the loss on Friday. I really do feel we carry some momentum and probably a little hunger because of coming out of there with a tie today into this coming week. And it sure would be nice to go 4-0 this week.
Yeah, as we bring in, let's bring in Wildfire, Justin Butts. I was going to say Justin Rich. Anyway, Justin Butts, one of the things I'm going to talk about, they talked about on the broadcast, our good friend Dave Nathan, he's a good guy, really good dude. He's the voice of the Tar Heels, but they brought it up about the tight strike zone. I'm going to talk about that later on, so you don't have to comment about that. I just want to get your overall thoughts about this weekend.
Well, I think Friday night we had a good atmosphere in Clark Clare. The end result was not what we wanted, but we bounced back on Saturday there in Durham, and at the end of the day, was a tight ball game, was a pitching duel. I really think this weekend was a little bit of a glimpse of what we expect the Pirates to be this year. Like I said, I think we're starting to get a little bit of a glimpse. So this weekend, even though we'll throw out Friday's game, but I think we bounce back Saturday and even today the shortened game. I really think we're gonna be okay. So very positive. I like the way the direction we went this weekend. So very positive this weekend.
No doubt. And as we bring in Alan Vick, ladies and gentlemen, the voice of the D.H. Conley Vikings in football on Pirate Radio in the fall, you can don't forget about him, and you can tip him too. You can do that in the fall as well. But AV, what did you think?
Well, we left the stadium Friday night with our heads hanging, but Saturday, like the guys have said before, that was a tremendous bounce back, and it was needed. And I agree with Justin. You got a glimpse in the last two games of what could be. You saw this team, do what I thought was pretty much a 180. I was pleasantly surprised with what I saw on Saturday and Sunday. So hopefully this is something that we can go on and go from there. But I was very, 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 very pleased to see this team with the grit and the fight. They didn't lay down yesterday or today. So I think we're hopefully turning the corner and getting back to where we should be, after the slow start.
And a guy that saw the win on Saturday afternoon and that at Durham Bulls Athletic Park in Durham, North Carolina, Johnny Robertson, JR, Johnny Stats.
What's up, fellas? What was my take is I feel like we have a young team, and they needed to see that they can beat a top 10 team. I mean, there may have been some doubt. I'm not saying that they're probably better built than that, but you just don't know with younger kids that, hey, we lost 2 or 3 at home to Xavier. We go to Campbell and get beat. We can only score 1 run. There might have been some self-doubting maybe. And then, Friday with what happened, I just couldn't have scripted a better bounce back than Saturday. And, that's an impressive ballpark. And I'm sure that the kids that are the freshmen, that's the best ballpark they've ever played in, I'm pretty sure. And then to go to Boschmer, I know the weather was terrible, but and be in that environment and pull even with them. So they held a top 10 team to 1 win in 3 games. I think that's a great accomplishment. I would have liked to have won 2 of them. I think that it was the right call for sure. I mean, those pitchers, when it's this cold out, you don't want to risk somebody, being out for weeks or months because of, an issue with their throwing arm. So I applaud the decision. I think Cliff wanted it. I think everybody wanted it. So it was the right decision to make.
Not everybody.
Who wanted to play that game, honestly?
Okay, so not in the current state that we're in right now, but we, for example, there's this school called East Carolina University that nobody knows about apparently, but they had a softball game today, and guess what they did? Wait for it. They did exactly what Kyle said, so I'm giving him credit. This is not to me. They moved the game up to 12. Yes, it's only 7 innings. I get it. But they got their game in. Unfortunately, we didn't get the result. We lost 7-5 today, but they got the result in. So I don't know, to be fair to them, I don't know how their weather was this morning and all that. But here's the thing. We know that we play games in February. We always play the series the same weekend. You got to have, not criticizing anyone, just saying, that this kind of weather, it happens every single year when we played North Carolina, every year. And so I would just simply say this is a lesson learned for North Carolina. If you're going to play us, then play us where, like that very thing. That, like, for example, our opening weekend, we had to change that and make a doubleheader. What if we tried to play that double, like with Xavier? We wouldn't have been able to get all 3 games in.
Yeah, and that's where it becomes complicated because of playing it in 3 different locations. you saw the forecast for today. We could have played 2 yesterday, but then they lose a home game. So I don't know how you do that. Maybe I don't know. It's cool to move it, but maybe we should just play all 3 in Durham. Maybe we should, instead of playing 1 in Greenville, 1 in Chapel Hill, 1 in Durham. And I know people are like, oh no, you want it in Greenville. Yeah, of course you do. But you did the midweek thing for so long, where where the games were played in Greenville and Chapel Hill, and so you get a quality weekend series out of it, and they play it in 3 different locations. But for logistic purposes, in terms of being able to play 2, for example, we could have done that yesterday. It may be smarter next year just to play all 3 in Durham at a neutral site.
I like that. I tell you why I like that. I love that ballpark. Both teams love that ballpark. It really doesn't give an advantage to North Carolina.
No, it's closer to Chapel Hill, but we'll have more fans there.
What I'm saying is that would give a weekend, and maybe you could work out a deal with North Carolina and ECU. Hey, you come here the whole weekend, and we'll give you, a cut of, I don't know, but I don't know how much.
Or my thought on that is maybe you do a 3-game series in Durham, and then the next year you can play a 3-game series in Wilson at the new stadium there in Wilson.
Or you could do either one. I really don't see it as a home field advantage for Chapel Hill playing it in Durham, because we're going to have more fans there. But you could do it either one. You could play it in Wilson. You could play it in Durham. I mean, you could sell to the highest bidder. I mean, that's what I'd say. I wonder if you put the series, a 3-game series between these 2, on the open market, and you just shopped it around to Durham, to Wilson, to Charlotte, anywhere that has a minor league ballpark, I bet you could get some big time dollars for this weekend series, shopping it around to a minor league park, and let it go to the highest bidder. And then again, you have a neutral site, which will have more fans at, and then it takes care of, because like I say, the reason they didn't play 2 yesterday was because Chapel Hill had a home game. Yeah. And so they couldn't go ahead and play 2 in Durham, even though they knew the weather was ahead of them. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how everybody feels about that going forward. Everybody likes the idea of having a game in Greenville, but by the same time, you don't have a game in Chapel Hill anymore. And it could be a money-making venture for both schools. Not that Chapel Hill needs the money, but going directly to the baseball programs by shopping it around and bidding a 3-game series out to minor league parks.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't want to lose a home game against Carolina. I don't want to lose the game at Boschmer. I think it's great the way it is. Yeah. It's quirky, so you have to do things a little differently.
Do you consider playing it later in the year when the weather is a little better?
That was
you can't do that. You can't do that because UNC starts conference play weekend after next. They have 74,000 teams in the ACC, so their conference play starts weekend after next, and they're locked into conference play for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So you can't play it later in the year. We'll have one more. We have a couple more non-conference weekends. I think 3 more, and then don't we have a goofy? There's some point in the American season where you have a goofy non-conference series during the conference season, isn't there?
Not for us.
I don't know.
Not for us. We got Coastal Carolina, if that's what you're talking about.
No. I'm talking about. It seems like
after the conference season starts.
Yes, it seems like in the past there has been, but is that not the case anymore? Yeah, maybe that was in the old American before we had more teams join and had more baseball programs.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about now. Now it's ringing a bell, Kyle. You're right. You're right on that. We had. And here's the thing.
There was one time we had like 8 members. That's all that played baseball in the conference.
Yeah, we got way more than that. But. Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry, Dave. I was just going to say, remember, Kyle, we used to have to play. We played Cincinnati home and away like every year for 3 years.
Yeah, we did.
Because we just didn't have enough teams, and that was good for us because they weren't very good.
And
we dominated
them the same way.
And then you can't. The only thing you can do, ACC plays conference games in midweek. So there was no way to reschedule. Yeah, there's just so damn many games.
Or do you do a 3-game series midweek? Do one in Greenville midweek, one
you could. I mean, we've done that. We've done that in the past.
So in other words,
home and home.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
No.
No.
Play one in April 5th, one in May 6th. Yeah, I mean, that's what we do at NC State. I mean, that's commonly done, and whether it's a 2 or 3 game. I think the answer is you just leave it like it is and you take it as it comes, or you sell it, to a minor league park and give it a 3-game series, which gives you flexibility to play double hitters because of weather, because it's all on one location. And you can make a lot of money. You can make a lot of money, I think, for both schools. And this game could really be a showcase. I mean, I really think a bidding war for minor league ballparks in the stadium for this game for a 3-game series would be, I think you got Kinston, you got Wilson, you got Durham, you got Fayetteville, you got Charlotte.
Muckhat, you even got the old Muckhat
Zebulon,
Stadium there.
I mean, whoever wants to pay for it, you're right. And the folks at WRL, whatever that media group's called, Dave, help me with that.
Capital Broadcasting.
Yeah, they own that stadium. So they need to utilize that stadium more and more. So somebody like that may be willing to bid more money on it.
Especially with that new, you talk about the stadium there in Zebulon. That would be a big moneymaker for that new CPL team there.
Yeah. Okay, hold on, Justin.
Whoever the highest bidder would be who would get it.
Hold on. I want to address something Justin said earlier. And he mentioned the stadium in Wilson where the Warbirds are going to be playing.
Yeah.
Okay. After Durham, we were driving through Wilson getting something to eat, and the lights were on at the stadium. So we were like, hey, man, let's go check this out. And the gates were open. There was nobody there. All the lights were on.
Oh, boy.
It's supposed to be ready for the season starter. I'm telling you, that field is going to be spectacular. Yeah, they have a huge hotel attached to it. They got all these, like tiki bars out there.
They were supposed to be building an amphitheater with that stadium. I don't know if they did or not.
It sure looks like it, Kyle. That's exactly what it looks like. And it's quirky dimensions. It's 420 to dead center, but then the wall takes like an abrupt, like geometric turn. And it's going to be tricky to play the outfield there.
420 to dead center. They'll be smoking them out of that ballpark. But anyway.
And there's no foul lines. I mean, if it's foul, I mean, it's in the stands. There's no foul. There's no room for foul territory down the baselines.
Off topic from what ECU baseball, since we're talking about it, but I'm going to be interested to see how the Wilson Warbirds negatively affect, or if they negatively affect the Bird Dogs. I mean, with them playing their first season last year, and now Wilson's got a new fancy stadium, and folks from Goldsboro, you got, just for example, it's Justin's in Goldsboro, I'm near, but you can be to Wilson or Kinston, one just as fast as the other. Maybe a hair closer.
Then you throw in the fact that the old Wilson Toms are moving over to Smithfield too.
Yeah, so there's a lot of baseball. You're right. If you're in Goldsboro, you got a lot of options, but it's interesting. If I was the Bird Dogs, I would be marketing heavy in New Bern, Jacksonville, areas that really wouldn't really consider going to Wilson. I would be marketing heavy in those markets.
Then also you got to figure out there's a summer collegiate team there in New Bern as well. The New Bern Southpaw.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't. I mean, there's collegiate ball's good, Southpaw's and the Marlins, but there's not. Yeah. It's not the same as pro ball. So I mean, if I'm the Bird Dogs, I'm marketing in that area big time, because I really do think that Greenville and Goldsboro and those areas is really the Warbirds are really going to hurt Bird Dogs if they don't market it right.
I will tell you right now, there's a lot of Wilson people. If they do have there are a lot of people that are very angry. That I don't want to get off on a tangent. But I will tell you, my friends that are Wilson folks, they are very angry the Tops are gone.
I don't blame them.
This is growth. I mean, you got a minor league park and a minor league stadium, nobody made the Tops leave. The Tops left because nobody was going to, attend the games when there's a minor league team there.
Well, here's the thing.
City would invest in Fleming over there either.
Correct. That was before even the Warbirds. And I'll tell you this, if the people don't want it, there's a thing called the Roanoke Rapids Theater, which I'm glad that they're doing well as far as they're having a lot of good shows.
Weldon Mills Theater.
But if Weldon Mills. But if the people don't want it, The people they were happy with the Tops, and I get what you're saying. I agree with. I'm not disagreeing with you, Kyle. So to make it very clear to everybody, I'm simply telling you what the Wilson people that I know that there's been a lot of controversy because there's been a lot of stuff that the city council, and I don't want to get into all that, but basically they didn't do their homework as far as to find out, like they've gone up on tax, different things. And I don't know I don't want to speak out of turn, but I do know that there's some controversy there, and I'll be interested to see like their crowds and there are people that are upset, obviously, in Zebulon. Are they going to drive to Wilson? There's just all kinds of things they didn't think about when they moved the team from Zebulon to Wilson. And
I don't know. You bring up what you originally referred to as the Randy Parton Theater, and it wasn't that the people in Roanoke Rapids didn't want it. It was piss poorly ran by Randy Parton. He was a fish out of water who thought the last name Parton was going to mean something, and it didn't mean nothing without the first name Dolly in front of it. And thankfully, as JR experienced, it's a great facility that's been sitting there for damn near 20 years at this point, though you can't look at it and tell, JR. And finally it's being used correctly.
Yeah. No, okay, Kyle, we need to move on, I guess. But let me just say that I agree. It's, progress. I get that. I was just saying that it was sad that we're not going to have the Wilson Tobbs anymore. It's just a little, it's a little sad that they're not going to be around anymore. It's good
for Smithville. So
are they still going to use the name Tobbs?
Yes, it's the Smithville Tops.
Okay.
But anyway, we'll move right along because we're talking about the Pirates, and but yeah, we'll see how that works out. Maybe after a while people will get over the fact of that. I don't know. But let's talk about Friday night. I'll tell you guys what I thought about Allen is, and guys, we're talking about the Olympics obviously being on, and today was the closing ceremonies. You remember Jim McKay with the Wild World of Sports? The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. When I was walking out of the stadium on Friday night, I thought about Jim McKay, and I was like, God knows the agony of defeat, especially. I thought we were going to – I'm not saying we win that game. I'm not trying to say anything like that. I just thought it was going to be competitive, and it's baseball. It's a surprise. Like, that's maybe what we love about it. It's a surprise. And so I was really disappointed. But I didn't dwell on it. I said, well, hey, maybe we can do something I was hoping for what happened on Saturday. And they played much better again today. So what did you guys think about, I guess, JR, we can start with Friday night. And is there any kind of running or anything as far as stats go?
Well, I will say this, 10-0, that doesn't sound good at all, but it doesn't really matter. I hate to say that. We were going up against maybe the best pitcher in the country, top three for sure, Jason DeCaro. I mean, how many people are throwing complete games nowadays? I mean, he threw one. Although he didn't, we got 10-run ruled, so he didn't have to pitch the ninth. But, even if we only let them score 2 runs, we weren't going to win that game the way he was pitching. So, let them get all their runs out of their system. As far as Ethan Norby goes, first inning, 11 pitches, 2 strikeouts, 3 up, 3 down. And he did the same thing in the 4th inning, but the 2nd and 3rd inning, I mean, when he gets hit, I was going to say I'm not worried about him, but I'm starting to worry a little bit just because when he gets hit very hard. He still had 7 strikeouts, the same amount as DeCaro did, and DeCaro pitched 8 innings, Norby pitched 4. So he's still getting people out. It's just, again, when he gets hit, he's getting hit hard.
What in the world is that?
He lost that noise. I don't know what it is.
So anyhow, Dave, I was next to the dugout on Saturday, and I saw Norby in the dugout with Coach Knight. And I'm telling you, he was not hanging his head. He was in great spirits. He was dancing. He was doing all kinds of stuff. I'm a little worried, but not really, because he's Ethan Norby, and his first 2, matchups were against very good pitchers, and we'll see. This is an important week for him, though, in my opinion.
And also I want to bring in Alan Vick here, but I was thinking also, guys, and Kyle, if you want to chime in too, I was thinking about it's kind of like the saying, "Damned if you do, damned if you don't." We don't play North Carolina, one of the best teams. Then we don't have the RPI. We don't really test our team, and when we come to late May or whatever, when we're looking at trying to get a regional, these games will matter. Not now, but they do matter then. And the other thing is, you could play cupcakes. We could play a whole bunch of cupcakes before we have the American schedule, right? And then all of a sudden we go, that's not right. Why didn't we make a regional? Well, because you didn't play the teams. We have wins, but wins doesn't matter. I guess the only way you would get in at that point would be if you won the tournament, but there's no guarantee that you win the tournament. So my point is that, yes, it stings. It hurts really bad to lose to North Carolina because of the rivalry. But as far as overall RPI, for that's concerned, it's going to help us out because they're going to win a lot of ball games. I really believe that. And we got to pull, as Johnny and I were talking last week, we got to be big Xavier fans the rest of the way as well. But what do you guys think?
Leaving that stadium Friday night, you made the Wide World of Sports reference. I felt like the skier in the opening from the Wide World of Sports, for sure. But let's back up just a little bit. The one positive out of Friday night, if there was a positive, the atmosphere at Clark LeClaire was fantastic. Absolutely, the place was rocking. Over 5,000. It was fun. It was. I mean, you got to remember Friday 5:00 start to have over 5,000 people there. People are working, trying to get off work.
And then that's why it's unacceptable to lose 10-0.
Yeah, just atmosphere was great, and it just the air came out of the balloon pretty quickly, and but the Saturday bounce back was really nice, really nice.
Yeah, and that's why it's unacceptable to lose 10-0 because of everything you just said. But it lit a fire under them, and they played really good baseball Saturday and then today. Hopefully that'll continue. Sometimes you have to get to your lowest point to wake up. I don't know. This team's obviously was lacking confidence after the first 5 games of the year, and it all kind of went to a head Friday. And thankfully, they bounced back Saturday and Sunday. And somebody's got a computer here that's making demonic sounds every now and then. Justin, I think it may be you. Leave and come back.
Yeah. By the way.
Dave, can I add something before we before we exit game one?
Yeah.
Okay, 10-0. Jason DeCaro, a complete game. He only gave up 5 hits. Here's the thing: we can't blame Braden Burris one bit. He was 3 for 4 against that pitching. Nobody else could hit him, but Braden was 3 for 4, and he went 7 for 11 for the series, batted .636. And he also had a walk, and he's at 500 now for the season. So let's realize what Braden's doing. Even in games that don't turn out the way we want them to, Braden's still being pretty consistent.
I'll tell you another thing I noticed, and maybe it's in fact, I think Cliff said on Friday it's locker room talk. But I can tell you one thing: you go out there and you get your butt kicked, like Kyle was talking about, and guess what? Cliff can say, you see what happens if you don't. I'm not saying he said this, so I'm just saying the point I was thinking about on Saturday when we were winning and won the game is they see that if you want to play big boy baseball, you cannot take 1 second off. You can't take an inning off. You can't take a pitch off because I noticed that as far as how many, Johnny, yesterday and today, how many errors? I don't remember.
Guys,
one error in the 3 games.
Guys, hold on. Justin's texting me saying he's getting texts from people saying there's so much static on the live feed that they're having trouble hearing us. Can our listeners that are in the comment section, can you comment and let us know, is our audio clear? Are you getting a lot of static? Before we just keep continuing, if people can't hear us good, people could let us know if there is static.
I've got it on a secondary phone right here, and it sounds fine on my end. So as of right now, it sounds fine. I've heard some static from time to time, like you said earlier, Kyle, but right now things sound fine.
Okay.
Thank you, Kenny. I'm just thinking, Kyle. I'm thinking of the Holton Aylor show. We don't want that.
No kidding.
No
Justin, I think it may be your end, brother. If you can leave and come back, I don't know if you can hear me. I think Justin might. Let me text Justin, and you guys talk amongst yourselves.
Josh says he can hear us now.
Thanks, Josh.
Josh.
Yeah, let me leave and come back and try.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's the thing is that we were talking about these younger guys. I mean, look at we'll talk about game 2 next, but you got a kid like Linehan, Young, other guys. You're playing against North Carolina, a top 10 program. No excuses whatsoever. But like I said, the only way that you're going to learn is when you have game experience, stating the obvious. And you're playing that kind of that was a regional. Alan, what do you think, guys? I think that was a regional like atmosphere on Friday night.
Oh, there's no question. The atmosphere was fantastic, like I said earlier. And you're right, Dave. What are we? You're an eighth of the way through the season or whatever it is now. This is the point where we're gonna learn an awful lot about this team moving forward. College of Charleston this week, the LeClaire this week. When we sit here next Sunday night, how this week went, I think will say a lot about the direction for the rest of the season. It's either going to go like it did Saturday and Sunday. You don't want to regress. So I'm hoping that this is the beginning of the momentum that's going to carry us, into March, April, and beyond.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of the point I was making earlier. That you didn't want to come out with the tie today. You wanted to get the dub, but it also wasn't a loss. So you carry the momentum from your last win, which was Saturday, a blowout. Then you feel like today you played well, and you can play with anybody. And you should have some hunger coming up this week and beyond. You got, and we need to get into Saturday's games and the details of it. But coming up, you got College Charleston midweek. You got Rutgers, Troy, and Western Carolina Keith LeClaire Classic, which is always a big deal. And then following weekend, you got Coastal Carolina. So big games coming up. A lot of big time games to be played still. These weekend series before we get into conference play. But
and talking about Coastal Carolina, they're struggling right now. Honestly, they got some of their top arms out, so we could really go down there and really show out pretty good. I really think.
Oh, they'll get them all back for that weekend.
Yeah, go figure. Yeah, probably true. Yeah. They're resting up for us.
Isn't one of their good pitchers out for a good while? I know.
Well, they were holding Fluky out.
They're Friday guy. I think he's supposed to be like top 10 or something.
Cameron Fluky.
Yeah, Fluky.
They were holding him
out, I believe.
Yeah, there is. He's done for the season though. Carbone.
Yeah, he pitched against us last year in the regionals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then UTSA's pitcher is done for the season most likely as well. That's why you don't want to throw pitchers when it's cold like today. Yeah. It's just too fragile.
And that played a role into why they ended in a tie. I mean, I get it from a fan's perspective, but also I get it from a coaching perspective as well. I mean, you don't want to ruin your arms in that kind of weather. I get it. It sucks, but I get it, honestly.
Yeah, nobody wanted to sit around for 2.5, 3 hours, which is probably what would have wound up happening. And,
it wasn't going to get any warmer.
No.
Josh says, I feel like this weekend was a turning point for the team. I feel like that they grew up a lot. I grew up in a hurry, and like Cliff has been telling him, you've got to pay it. I don't, but I'm just paraphrasing here. You've got to pay attention. You got to pay. That's why the errors are happening. If you miss 1 second to the game is so fast. I can't even imagine being on the field with the pressure that they have. But the game is a lot faster than those of us sitting in the stadium. I want to make it sure that Cliff Godwin knows I'm not criticizing him, not criticizing the team. I'm saying offer them grace, because it's like the cliche, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And, you look at, we'll talk about Johnny. One of the things, our relief pitching, when you got a guy like Sean Jenkins, it's lights out.
Yeah. I'm almost even hesitant to call him a relief pitcher. He certainly is, Dave. He's a relief pitcher.
You know you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. But it's almost like we have 3 weekend starters, but we really have 4, and he's just going to be used wherever. And he just is incredibly impressive. Incredibly.
Yeah, I like him a lot. And, that's the thing is we're going to have to try, and that's a good problem to have. Alan, you remember when we were at the media day, they were talking about how many pitchers they have. They're going to have to really, with the lineup as well, with the players, if it's infield, if it's pitching, catcher, we've got 3 good catchers. The depth this year is definitely there. And when you're looking at College of Charleston, by the way, it's going to be at Segra Stadium where the Woodpeckers play. That's another place that could, if they want to do a bidding war on the ECU series. But anyway, it's one of those things where I feel like right now, okay, you put those games behind you. We'll talk.
Dude, if you go to, I can't tell if that sounds like, I can't tell if Justin Static sounds like a demon or like Matt's pug. Carmelo. Yeah, no, what I was gonna ask is, Segra Stadium down there, home of the Woodpeckers, do their fans chant "Go Packers, go"?
I don't know.
They have a very large roster.
Okay.
So we'll just leave that to your imagination.
And Alan, I also was told that I haven't had a chance to study the roster, but I did hear they have a guy by the last name Johnson. He's kind of a big dude.
Boy, and the hits keep on coming. Hey, here's something for you that the College of Charleston and ECU have something in common. They both have Rutgers on the schedule. Rutgers, I believe, took 2 out of 3 from College of Charleston earlier this year. So that is a common opponent that both teams will see, sooner than later.
Yeah.
Hey, JR, were you at the game yesterday in Durham?
Yeah, I was.
Okay, so are the rumors true? Did Blake lead the ECU chant?
Yeah, he
yesterday?
did. He absolutely did. Bub and I, we saw him coming up the steps, and everybody wants to get their picture taken with Blake, and he never turns anybody down. He took his picture with everybody, but he did indeed lead it. Yeah.
I do. Yeah, I
Good
do.
for him, man. It takes effort. It's not like going to a game in Greenville. He went to Durham to a neutral site, got involved in it, leading the Purple Gold chants, ECU chants. So Blake gets it. Good for Blake. Not something he had to do. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, he actually talks about he loves going. He's going to. I've seen him at basketball games, even when they were not honoring the football team. I'm talking about he's going to more than. And yes, it's walking, into that, but he doesn't have to do that. And then you're right, Kyle. He really is. He knows that still. I mean, think about it.
Who's the? I'm sorry. Good God, Justin, mute yourself. There you go. Thank you.
I did it.
Just mute yourself when you're not talking. Or Dave did it. Okay. Guys, I'm going to sound like an idiot here. Shouldn't even try to, because I'm so horrible with names. The pitcher for the Blue Jays,
Trey Savage.
Yeah, Trey Savage. Coach Blake talked about how he had recently on the podcast that they do that Carr does. Guys, help me out here.
Preston Carr.
Yeah, the podcast he does.
Oh, the Walk the Plank? Is that what it's called? No, something ship.
Well, we know what we're talking about. Preston Carr and those guys' podcast. This is produced by ECU football. By the way, good. I guess it's the most recent episode, or the next to the most recent. I don't know how they come out. How often they come out. But Blake talked about how he recently had got an autographed baseball from Trey Savage. So he gets it, man. He's not just he's completely bought into Pirate culture.
Well, he was that way, and I told you guys. Talked about it many times. He was that way even before he was head coach. He knew that he was the defensive coordinator. He, being from the western part, he's a Western Carolina grad. Probably interesting to see who he pulls for on Sunday. But anyway, he gets it. He's a North Carolina guy. He does a great job of recruiting. Like I said, if you take Johnny, he knows that if he goes to those games and somebody says, "Hey, coach, how you doing? Can I get a picture, autograph?" He's taking all that because he wants to have that turn to fans coming up this fall. And you can easily take, now that he's had a lot of success, half a season and then the full season this year or this past year in 25, it'd be easy to just kind of let off the gas a little bit. But he's actually has a lot of momentum for this program now, the best we've had in a while. We'll talk again when it comes to April. We'll try to do a spring game show, if you will, so we can do that. But anyway, I really like the guy, and like they're out there, even Coach Houston, when he was here, he was out in the jungle. And I know it's Greenville, but I think we have a good rapport with coaches whenever it's not their season and they're trying to support another coach, just like Kim McNeil and Mike Schwartz and different ones. They come to the football games. It's a good recruiting tool.
It is. It's really good. They don't have to do this. It's not part of their contract to do this, but it means so much. Just think about one-on-one interaction with a fan and Blake Harrell, Kim McNeil, Mike Schwartz. That's something, the fan or kid that gets an autograph or a picture, that's something they'll never forget.
Yeah,
that's a moment with somebody they look up to.
JR, in the stands yesterday in Durham, the Pirates outnumbered the Tar Heel fans. What was the 2-1, or what was certainly watching it on my phone. It looked, the Pirate crowd was certainly louder, but we had more to cheer about. Yeah,
I'll go with what Josh said, and I also agree with Josh that it was just a fun environment. We won the baseball game. We also won the ribbon. What was that called? Synchronized ribbon dancing or something. They had some stupid ECU against UNC, and they pulled two male students, and they had to do synchronized ribbon dance. And our guy crushed their guy. So yeah, Saturday was our day. We did everything right.
I'm a little surprised that an ECU student that's a male beat UNC.
So what you're saying is ribbon is the dancer.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I saw a lot of people that I knew at that game. My voice is gone from yesterday, to be honest with you, and it was okay. I was chewing on a cough drop, but now it's coming back. So I apologize for that. But
you sound fine, JR.
Get you a squirt and a tequila, JR, and start drinking.
You're giving Barry White for money. You sound great.
Yeah, I saw a friend of the show, Richard Alsbrook, was there, but I just never had a chance to go say hey to him. But he was definitely having a good time, and
I saw him Friday going up to the press box. Richard, you won't find a better human being. He's first class.
Not at all. And Saturday, today Bubba saw him at Chapel Hill. So, he followed like a lot of people did. I know Todd Howell, the left field megaphone crew did not go to Chapel Hill for many different reasons. Not for lack of interest, just because of logistics. But Todd kind of represented the cheerleading today in Chapel Hill, so we definitely appreciate that.
No doubt. And with Saturday's game, the Linehan, he really came up big. He was one single short of a cycle, and that kid, I was going nuts, like a little kid, but it felt so good because Alan, I was texting you. It was like I went up there trying to find Alan in the press box, and he was hiding from me. And then I'm just joking. That was a joke. But that place was even the press box was wall to wall people. Don't worry, they didn't break any fire codes. It was just it's usually about half the amount of people they had, but because it was a UNC game, everybody was there. But anyway, it was a good experience. But Saturday, with I felt like that Saturday, it felt like that, I don't know you guys, but that wasn't a big moment for these guys. Okay, we played them Friday night. It seemed like it was a really big moment. Maybe it's because we're in front of all our fans, 5,000 people. It was a regional light atmosphere. It's always that way when the ACC schools that are from the Triangle come our way. And I was like, wow, to see all those people, and there were a lot of hurt people, but I was happy that they were hurt only because it means they care. It's not like coming to a ball game and they're just come to have something to do. They really love their Pirates. And so when we had Linehan, he hit second, I know today, Johnny, but I felt really good. He's right up there for the weekend for me we'll talk about that, the player of the week.
Yeah. Well, when we got up 3-0, and then UNC tied it 3-3, and then we responded. That was the difference. That's that we haven't seen a lot of this year, is the response. And we kept our foot on the gas the entire game and pulled away. Van Kempen, after giving up the home run, did not play, came right back. So that to me was the big thing on Saturday. We punched first, they punched back, but then we threw the knockout punch and responded.
Yeah, I agree with Van Kempen. The problem with him, though, on Saturday was his stuff looked good, but he was consistently getting behind in the count. And he worked, I think he had 5 full counts. He walked to a couple of people, but he did respond well. And Gavin, I think his name was Gavin Gallagher, the guy that hit the 3-run home run off of him. After that, he did pitch pretty well, and they left him in there until Gallagher came back around, and then they took him out and put in Sean, and then Sean. GVK pitched 4.1 innings, and then Sean pitched the final 4.2, and Sean, I think the worst he was behind a hitter was 2-1. I mean, he never got behind. He was always ahead, always in command. They couldn't figure him out. And it was a beautiful thing to watch, to be honest with you.
No doubt. And with Saturday's game, as far as I feel really good, even though I was going to say this, and I know Thomas talked about this. It was shocking to see the 10-0 score. But it happens in baseball. I'm not trying to make excuses. And I think it was good to see them flush that game and just say, hey, man, what can you do about Friday night? It happens, move on. And
well, Grady Linehan said, I got this. 6 RBIs. Another thing, Dave, about Saturday is, okay, through the first 6 games, this is just a kind of a dumb stat, but I thought it was interesting. We swung on the first pitch 28 times, and we got 7 hits for 8 total bases. On Saturday alone, we were 6 of 11 and got hit by a pitch on a first pitch. So we had 12 one-pitch at bats, and batted .533 and had 12 total bases on first pitch hits in today's game and yesterday's game combined. So, I mean, I don't know if that's Gautreau. I don't know if that's we're just deciding to be more aggressive. Their pitchers were throwing strikes, so I guess we were jumping on them early instead of taking a pitch and then getting behind in the count to someone that's a very good pitcher, and now you're already in the hole one. So we were swinging early. I did notice that. And I also noticed one other thing. From where I was sitting, I could see Coach Gautreau, every batter, he talks to everybody. And anytime there's a mound visit, Cliff comes over from third base, and they talk to the guy on deck and whoever's was in the batter's box, and they go over exactly what they want to do. And, man, they got results. That's all I'm saying. So I feel good about our hitting going forward, and it was just interesting to watch.
John White, of course, former pitcher for the Pirates with Coach Gary Overton. He said Saturday both pitchers, it was obvious fastballs were just a show pitch to remind hitter they had one, but it was also the off spread and tie breaking stuff that was successful against the heels.
There you go.
Yeah, Saturday they kept Carolina off balance pretty much all day, and very few teams nationally keep Carolina off balance. obviously, and first time in quite a while. Obviously, this year putting an L on them. But not only did ECU put an L on Carolina on Saturday, ECU was really in control of that game, with the exception of the 3-run homer, Galligan or whatever.
Gallagher.
Yeah, they control 90% of that baseball game. You don't see that against Carolina, that often.
Very true. So we're looking forward to, obviously, with Saturday's game. We were wondering, are you done talking about Saturday? Do you want to move into Sunday, today's game? Did you have any more, Johnny?
Let me see here. I think we're done.
Okay. Just want to make sure everybody got a chance looking at the time of how long we've been on the air. Sunday's game, today's game, I was curious, when we had Friday night and it was lackluster, it was really tough. When you see fans and you don't even know them, that's what's great about Pirate Nation, is there's like this bond that we have. And this one dude, he walked up to me and he couldn't say, normally like you're chatting with people, even if you don't know them, about the ball game. And he looks at me, Alan, and he goes, and that's all he could do to me. Normally they're like, man, so-and-so, this pitcher, blah, 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 or this hitter. And I was standing right behind home plate. And I said, wow, that says it all. But Sunday's game, my point was, we responded yesterday, but then today's a rubber match. And I felt overall, I said, hey, we can win this game. The way they started out, the hitting, Lynch, the great pitcher, he hit 2 of our players, but that's what's horrible about the game stopping is top of the 6th. What would happen? Who knows? But anyway, Johnny, what stats do you have for today's game, or let us know?
I will confess to you, I watched the whole game, but I was at tiebreakers. Mike Mullis was hosting. We watched the game on the TV at tiebreakers, and I wasn't keeping stats or anything like I normally do, but I did notice. Well, first of all, pitching wise, we had. I love our guy Colby Weber, freshman. That first game, he's trying to prevent a sweep from Xavier in his first ever appearance, and now hey, let's we got beat pretty bad yesterday. We need you to, we won pretty good yesterday. So we need you to come out and try to win the rubber match. And I'm telling you, he looked confident. He looked really confident. But I tell you, I would be interested what John White says about this. I think John even mentioned that he looked maybe 2 miles an hour slower than normal because of the weather. And he wasn't getting a lot of swing and misses like he did his first time out, but he hung in there and he did very well. And now I'm just hoping that next Sunday he can have a little less pressure on him and, be more relaxed going in and pitching at home after hopefully we won the 3 previous games. So I take my hat off to Colby Weber, because for such a young man pitching in that stadium, he did very well.
All right, and what were your thoughts, Kyle, with the game today to this afternoon?
We played well. We got up on them. They would fight back. We would get back up on them, and then they tied it up again right before the weather. It'll be interesting to see if we'd answered again. It seemed to be a lot of answer back and forth baseball. It's a shame that the game got called, because it would have been interesting to see how it played out, because it was a real back and forth game and would have probably been that way all the way through the 9th. Although you can have a inning, even in a game like that, where all of a sudden it gets blown up by one of the 2 teams. But it would be interesting to see what happened. All in all, I just kind of take away from the day and yesterday positive momentum. And I'm anxious to see how the team responds, this coming week and the following week. And you'd see if we can be the team that we were projected to be at the start of the season. And, you play so damn many baseball games. And this is just week number 2. It seems like it's further out than that, because you've already played, 8 games. But we got to remember this is week 2. So my biggest takeaway from today isn't so much the result or anything directly from the game, just that we responded from yesterday's positive momentum. We were going back and forth with them. We would answer, they would answer. And it's more so about what we're going to do going forward from today.
I have a play that I want to that was really entertaining and very important, and that's they call him Vogie, Jack Vogeley. He had an at bat where he hit the ball to like shallow center field, and it was a 1-1 tie. At that point of the game, this is the top of the 5th inning, and he got a single to center field and scored what would be runs 2 and 3. But on his way to first base, he fell flat on his face.
Yeah.
And had to do like a little swim move to get back up. And man, everybody was losing it. Like, just because everything ended up well. He made it to first base. But that's going to be one that they're not going to let him forget about anytime.
Yeah, didn't he kind of look towards the dugout
Yeah,
kind of smugly, and half a second later he's on the ground. So.
Yeah, and he seems like an entertaining guy. The way he takes his hat off when he goes in the dugout, and he's got that full head of curly hair, and he's just, I can tell he's probably a fun teammate to have hanging around the dugout.
I agree. It's also going to be interesting to watch Carolina from this point forward. Are they going to return to being the dominant Carolina team that started the season, or is this going to start maybe some negative momentum for them? It'll be interesting to see over the next couple of weeks the trajectory for Carolina as well, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
We're the first team that to really punch them and punch them hard, and so it'll be interesting how they respond.
Yeah, they got conference play. I think weekend after next. I think maybe did they open up with UVA?
It's pretty soon. I'll have to look at their schedule, but I know you're right, Kyle. They are, well, like you said, there's a million teams when you add SMU and Cal and this team and that team that are not on the Atlantic coast. They're not on the Atlantic coast at all. So, but anyway, that's exactly why they have to do it.
SMU doesn't play baseball.
Well, I know that. I know they don't, but I'm just saying that when they added the teams, that meant that either they're going to have less games with a common. They would have to. It's just a. It's a mess.
It's a long conference schedule because most of the teams in the league do play.
Yeah,
there's 17 teams counting Notre Dame.
I'd be interested to see when Stanford comes across the country to play at Carolina exactly how much it costs Stanford to a baseball team. Across the country, what the dollar amount is, for the weekend. I bet it's astronomical just to think about it.
Yeah, no, but they get a lot of revenue from TV, so they're going to make more money.
Speaking of TV, I saw some comments today about the Pirate fans were upset because the announcers were being so biased towards
it was
Carolina.
Their radio broadcast.
Yeah, but it was the Carolina radio broadcast. So yeah.
And let me say this. I know Dave Nathan personally. He's the voice of he's come on our show. He's a friend of mine. We're radio friends, and the guy is very good. Yep. And he's hired to do that very thing, to be the voice of the
but some people didn't realize that because it was ESPN live feed, and you wouldn't. And we do it every now and then.
Yeah,
that we'll have our radio feed, but you wouldn't expect that North Carolina would be doing that with that ACC money. But apparently they were cheaping out, and so yeah, you had the Tar Heel baseball broadcasting crew on the ESPN feed yesterday and today, which I overall, obviously they were. I've heard way more biased. I could stomach them just fine. They were fine.
Yeah, I thought so too. Like Dave said, Dave Nathan is a pro.
Yeah, he's really good, and like I said, he's come on at least 3 or 4 times on our show. He's a really nice guy, and he was also giving us compliments when he was talking about today about how the fact that he said it doesn't matter if it's Greenville, it doesn't matter if it's Durham or Chapel Hill. He said no matter how many Pirate fans are here, they're loud and they're there. And
he also mentioned Coach O a couple of times.
Yeah, how great,
which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, he's a really good guy. And, like one of the things, Justin, I needed help with today was, and I saved it for right now, but I will say this because Kyle gets on me about talking about umpires and referees, but my frustration, at least I can say that he was consistent. That strike zone today, I'm like, dude, what in the blank do we have to do? Like that strike zone was, and I was thinking about you, Alan. We were there at the media day when Coach Austin Knight, the pitching coach for the Pirates, was talking about how the strike zone has just narrowed and narrowed. I'm like, that's a strike. I'm not saying, and don't get me wrong, I'm not giving the umps like a hard time if the ball is way up in the air or like at your feet or way outside, just a bit outside. I'm not like on them like if it's a ball or strike, I'm going to say, okay, well, wow, he missed it. But there were a lot for both teams. Like I said, both teams, we got away with it just like they did when there were times when there were a ball, when our guys were hitting and it looked like a strike. But Justin, you're the umpire. I'm not. But it felt like today that I'm like, both teams were very frustrated. Both coaches were very frustrated about the strike zone.
Absolutely, Dave. I 100% agree with you on that. It was very inconsistent on the strike zone, but like I said, these guys are graded every night. So I will say what's the word to put it here? They are, like I said, they're graded every night on TrackMan. There's a system that they put in place where they're graded. So I will say that 95% of the time they're going to be correct on their strike zone. And that's how they get graded every game. So at the end of the game, they get a score report of what the strike zone is, and that's the technology is there where they get that strike zone grade. And as bad as you want to say it, 95% of crime they're going to be correct on their strike zone. I know for a fact for Friday night the umpire graded at 96% was his grade.
Well, yeah,
For Friday game.
I don't have a problem with Friday night because Friday night was just one of those nights. My dad, I was going to say earlier, my dad has a saying when it comes to sports. He's like, when it's your night, it's your night when he's talking about sports. And Friday night was just not our night. There was nothing
it really won't. Looking, I'm sitting behind a home plate at the game, and I'm looking at the strike zone, and for where I'm looking at the strike zone, yeah, it looks like a strike, looks like a ball. You can't tell where I'm at, but the umpire graded out at 96%, which at that level, 96%, he's doing pretty well. So.
Well, yeah, we've seen. I will say we've seen way worse.
Oh yeah.
There's some that I want to jump through the TV if it's a away game.
Oh, I do too, Dave. Like,
I can't
sit
imagine.
behind. I'm gonna blame him. Like, that's a strike. That's a strike. But at the same time, you can't. Look, I tell anybody from umpiring perspective, get behind the plate. Let me see you call that strike. Let me see what you call back there.
I don't ever want to see the human element eliminated out of the game.
And that's where they have this at the professional level. They have this automated umpire strike zone where they can challenge and review all that. That's bull crap. I hate that crap as an umpire.
Yeah, I don't. If the human element ever goes out of baseball, it's not baseball anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, and what do you do?
And that's what makes baseball great. Is that human element of the game. Like now, everything's now going to the computer. The AI. I think there's some leagues out there that are going to a robot umpire that takes out the human element of the game. What makes baseball great is the human element of the game.
Yep, everything about it, because giving the umpire hell, that's just part of it. That's
exactly.
Part of the fun.
Exactly right.
It's part of the fun,
Look, I will tell you, if somebody is not arguing with me about my balls and strikes, then that it takes the human element out of the game.
some of the best one-liners I've ever heard in my life have happened in ballparks toward umpires.
Exactly.
Billy Martin with the Yankees.
It's just and that's all part of it as well. So it's nice to have all this technology to look back and get graded and all that.
It's great.
But we need umpires being human umpires and doing what they do, because I mean that's baseball. If that ever goes away, it'll really hurt the game big time, in my opinion.
It's just like I had a game Saturday. It was a tie ball game going to the 7th inning, high school baseball games. It was just a scrimmage. Had a tie ball game going to the 7th inning. Had a bang play at first. I bang them out. Coach is raising Cain, and I'm like, in a college game, we can go to review of that. But look, bang play, I'm calling them out. Yeah, but that's just the human element of the game.
I'd be interested to know from you, Justin, how what is your breaking point for tossing somebody? At what point does it cross the line from conversation and disagreement to you just made the mistake, you're out of here? Do you have a general consensus of when you know someone has crossed the line?
Well, part of the problem, Alan, is paperwork. I don't want to do the paperwork. So I will probably general consent. I will let you go with a lot of things because we don't want to do the paperwork. If that makes any sense to you. In high school, in North Carolina High School Athletic Association, we don't want to do the paperwork. So I'm gonna let you go with a lot of stuff. I'm gonna try to talk to you. But a lot of times, a lot of umpires, we don't want to do the paperwork, so we'll let things go.
Yeah,
but at the college level, I mean, if I'm at JUCO, I'm gonna toss your ass in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I've seen the umpires get abused, just absolutely abused.
But a lot of that has to do with the fact that they don't want to do the paperwork.
So is that just? Are you saying that just so you don't have to do the same paperwork in college? Is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
Okay, I didn't know that. Well, I'll tell you one thing. When I missed I'm in the major leagues. I miss Johnny. Do you miss Kyle? Do you guys miss the old umpires? Old coaches like Earl Weaver for the Orioles. I miss.
I set up all night. I set up all night messing them.
Are we done with with Pirate baseball? I'm just asking because we? Yeah. Okay, because because I had more stats, but I mean I don't know if people. I don't know. I have some stuff.
Go ahead, Johnny. Go ahead, Johnny, with the stats, man. Come on,
Jared. If you got something to say, this is a pirate show.
That's what I'm thinking, Kyle. People tuning in, they want to hear some stuff.
Bring it back in. Yeah, bring it back into the stats.
Yeah, I won't prolong it, but I mean, there's some things that should be mentioned. Besides, we already mentioned Braden Burr's batting 500. I did find an index card in my back pocket with a couple of stats on it that I brought to tiebreakers, and so I just wanted to go over this real quick.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
This isn't even a stat. This is if you watch the game on Saturday, Braden Burris hits a ball behind the first base. And the pitcher's going to cover first. First baseman is going to toss the pitcher the ball, but Braden sees that there's no sense of urgency. Head first dive into first base. He's safe. I mean, I just felt like that needed to be mentioned because this kid is just, after what he did last season, everybody said he's going to, we can't expect that from him again. There's going to probably be some regression. Nope. Not so far. He's like putting his foot on the accelerator, and he just finds new ways to help this team. And I did want to mention that. And the other thing, I had a stat to show, like I mentioned earlier about first pitch hitting. So in the third inning on Saturday, we loaded the bases. And who was pitching for them? It was Folger Boaz. Folger Boaz loaded the bases and got 3 outs. There were no double plays, and he only threw 10 pitches. I mean, that shows you how aggressive we are at the plate. he threw 10 pitches to 6 different batters because we're really jumping on everything. So I wanted to mention that. And then I wanted to mention the fact that at this point of the season, right now, our pitchers, our batters have only struck out 45 times, but we have 29 walks, 16 hit by pitches, and 3 intentional passes, all to Austin Irby. So we got 48 free passes, and we've only struck out 45 times. That is getting it done. That's discipline. So we're swinging early, we're being aggressive, but we're not striking out a lot. So I feel like that needs to be recognized. And the one error that we had in the whole UNC series after we had 11 errors in the previous 5 games. So we are on a good path. And then pitching wise, real quick, this is going to close it out.
All right.
Sean Jenkins, 0.00 ERA. Batting average against 139. And then Gavin Van Kempen, he's got a 3.24 ERA, but his batting average against is only 133. Nobody's hitting these guys. Colby Weber, they're only batting 188 against him. Nobody's thrown more than 3 walks. And Sean Jenkins has 17 strikeouts. Ethan's got 10. Colby's got 8. And Gavin Van Kempen's got 9. So we have 10 walks that we've issued, and we've struck out 44. That's a 4.4 to 1 ratio. And that is outstanding. So I wanted to give the pitchers and the hitters some props there.
Sorry, Johnny, I was just going to kind of overlap. I apologize. I was going to say that that's a tremendous stat. I knew that we hadn't had a lot of walks, but that's even better than what I thought. So when you put the pen to paper or pencil to paper, whichever you like, that's much better.
Well,
Guys,
two of the walks were today, and that's because Colby wasn't getting strike 3 calls. Colby Weber wasn't getting strike 3 calls, so they ended up in a walk once. But anyhow,
that Justin's saying that he's going to get 98% grade out, Dave. He's going to get 98% grade out today. But I'm telling you, man, at least he was fair. I will say the umpire was fair. He was missing. If you show me your strike zone, it's supposed to be, Justin, help me out. It's supposed to be, so I don't speak out of turn, but I've always been told it's the numbers, the letters down to your knees, right? Or is that not accurate? But
that's 100% accurate, Dave.
All right.
That was cool.
All right, let's do the pitcher of the week. Johnny, you've already been talking about stats. But the extra innings pitcher of the week, who you got?
It's got to be Sean Jenkins. It absolutely has to be.
Sean Jenkins, absolutely.
And they all, like I said, everyone did something well. A lot of 3 up, 3 downs. A lot. I said Gavin Kempen got behind a lot, but he also had 2 or 3 1-2-3 innings. So all of our pitchers are doing good things, and but I think Sean has to be recognized as the player of the week.
I'll totally agree.
All right, Kyle, do you have who you got?
No, I'm going with you guys on this. Whatever y'all say is what I'm going with. We need to go ahead and decide this starting off next week before we do the show, though. We can create a graphic and stuff.
There you go.
All right, extra innings player of the week. Who you got?
You want me to go again? I feel like I'm monopolizing this segment.
No, you're not. You're not, Johnny.
Okay. All right. Grady Linehan had 6 RBIs in our 1 win, and was a single away from the cycle, and it was just clutch. And not to mention, he's playing outstanding defense, and his speed and his arm. I'm still looking for his weakness. He might have something that I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he's colorblind or something. I don't know what his weakness is, but it's on the baseball field. I can't find any.
No doubt. And player of the week, like we talked about, I agree. Linehan was phenomenal, and he was one of he's one of those guys that the game is starting. I'm telling you guys, the game. Just imagine when we say in May by the tournament, or certainly by the regional, these guys aren't freshmen anymore. Well, I'm telling you right now, he is definitely John's got it. He says Grady 1A, Jack 1B. And I tell you what, Johnny, what was the stats again on Braden Burris? He was in the mix for my.
Well, he was 7 for 11 with that outstanding sliding, head first. It's just the RBIs that Grady and the fact that he just showed he's got our only triple of the year. I mean, it's tough to do that. So it could. Jack did have an outstanding series as well, and Braden. So it's what, we have this issue every week. It's always like one A, B, and C, and that's awesome.
It's a good problem to have. Very good problem to have. And guys, want to mention to everybody that don't forget we'll have our course College of Charleston again is at Segra Stadium where the Woodpeckers play in Fayetteville. We'll have our own deck. We'll be back on Thursday nights at 8:00. So we'll recap that. Plus we'll get you ready. Big series this week is obviously we have the Keith LeClaire Classic and 3. It's going to be a lot of fun this weekend. It's one of my favorite times of the season. Just want to get y'all's thoughts on College of Charleston. Like a really quick, one sentence kind of thing. You don't have to. We're going to be working on them between now and Wednesday, like reviewing ourselves. But what's your take on College of Charleston? They don't sleep on them. I do know that.
They beat Coastal, so you can't sleep on them.
Yeah. They took 2 out of 3 against Coastal, didn't they?
No, I don't think it was. It wasn't a series.
Yeah, they
have
not won a series.
Yeah, at Coastal.
Hey, so did you guys see the Twitter post? They have their first base coach is actually a female. Did y'all see that
at Coastal?
No, at the College of Charleston.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah, yeah.
I did not see
awesome.
Yeah. So
let's move on.
Let's move on so that we don't get in trouble. On deck for me, Alan Vick is he's one of our lawyers. He's telling me that Dave, we've known each other for a long time. He gave me that look.
I did it telepathically.
Yeah, you did. Thank you, Alan. Alan's always trying to keep me out of trouble. I appreciate you, AV. Yeah, so we'll have our own deck getting ready for the Clark LeClaire. There I go again.
No, I think it is an interesting thing to talk about. So College of Charleston coming to town Wednesday, and their first base coach is a woman. I think that's notably and worth mentioning. If we have to be worried about being sued because putting out somebody's sex in a male sport that their first base coach is a female, that's worth noting. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. That doesn't bother me one bit.
I didn't say it bothered me. I said it was interesting.
Okay.
I think it's fantastic.
I think so too.
Oh, it's great. It's tremendous. I couldn't be more excited about it. It's very interesting.
All right. So we'll have that. Don't forget about that. And we'll have the Thursday on deck show again. And then and then don't forget our anniversary show we'll be celebrating next Sunday night and hopefully celebrating about Pirate wins. Love to see a sweep or 4-0 on the week. That'll be coming up Sunday night as we are turning 8 years old, our anniversary. So Alan's been on episodes early on, and I know that Justin and Johnny have been with us a long time before they got the screen time. And Justin's a heavyweight champion in the NWA now. Wildfire. Exactly. So, but anyway, I wanted to mention to you guys, just really excited about, I don't know about you guys, but we're doing our round table now. So I want everybody to know, we're doing our round table. Let me say it again. We do it every show, our round table, and we do talk about other sports. I know that it's extra innings. We'll still talk about baseball be thrown in, but we do talk about other sports, and it's not in depth because you can get them anywhere. But we will also like to know that there's other things besides Pirates. No disrespect to anyone. Did want to tell you guys the Olympics was fantastic. This is the most Olympics that I've watched in years. And I did have a question I'm going to throw out before I mention anything. Oh, there I am, a parrot. If you could participate in the Olympics, is there one event that you say, hey, for me, I would say the bobsled is one that I've always wanted to do. I don't know what it is. There's other ones, curling. I love a lot of different stuff, but the bobsled is one that I'm like, man, I would love to be able to do that. is there an event that you would like to do? I know that like we're not going to the Olympics, but if you could, which one would you pick?
Bobsled for me. I agree. Bobsled is just a thing, man, to make that bobsled and to make it go as fast as you can.
Up to
And
like 80.
it's got to be just a heck of an adrenaline rush to get in a bobsled. 3 guys in a bobsled, and you're going 160 miles an hour down the chute. I mean, it's got to just be. You got to bring a change of undergarments, I'm sure, when you get out of that thing, because that's just got to be incredible rush to be in a bobsled, and not to mention the preparation. It's like a race car. You prepare it like you would prepare a race car.
What do you got?
Okay, after you do your bobsled run, then come join me on the luge, because that's where talk about it's scary. My goodness, you're by yourself, and I think that luge. I don't know what the top speed is that they reach, but I think that would be fun. I want to do that.
I'll totally agree with you, Johnny, there.
All right, so it looks like Alan Vick and I are going to be on the bobsled.
We just need one more person.
Get a couple guys, and you guys doing the luge.
The luge, that would be my thing. The luge.
And since Kyle is not with us, I'm going to pick hockey for him. Guys, that was incredible today. That game, talk about drama. I didn't sleep very well last night and trying to watch that game, but it really, I was just like trying to wake up and watch at 8 o'clock this morning. But the fact that we won the gold today on the 46th anniversary of Do You Believe in Miracles, that was not the final game back in 1980, but there's just something magical. That's only, so we had 1960, 1980, and now 2026. Only 3 times we've won the gold. I was, like, again, round table time, everybody round table time. But I was really excited for our country. There was a moment there where that was just so spectacular.
This will be another "Where were you" moment in American sports history. 20 years down the road, people will be saying, well, where were you in 2026 when hockey won the gold medal? So just one of those days.
Yeah. And we're going to get Kenny. We're going to ask, you're throwing up ECU questions. We're going to get to that. I'm just talking about Olympics real quick, and we're going to get to that. So what did you think, Johnny, about the win today with, and the women's team also won the gold, the most goals we've ever won. We beat both the Canadian men's and women's team 2-1 in overtime. There was just a lot of cool things there, and to have was it Goudreau? How do you pronounce the guy's name that passed away that was on a cycle and a drunk driver hit him? He would have been on this team most likely. But anyway, they took his jersey out. I mean, if that doesn't give you eyeball sweat, knowing that, that's a heck of a team, every game they had his jersey there, because most likely they honored him. But we had the most medals we've had, I think, outside of the United States. So what did you think, Justin? I don't know. I guess he's so overwhelmed right now with the emotion of the win.
Apparently.
Johnny.
Okay, here's a stat for you.
All right.
I watched 0 minutes and 0 seconds of Olympic coverage, and it's not because I'm not patriotic. I definitely am. I never knew when anything was on. It was very poorly promoted. I had no idea when. I guess other people didn't have a problem figuring it out, but there's just too much. I mean, this is starting of college baseball season. I did not watch any of it, and I'm not proud of that. I'm just saying that's just the way it worked out. So I can't comment on anything.
Okay. All right. Well, I will say one of the great things is when we had the cable networks, but now what's cool is I like the fact that they still package the way that when we grew up, where it's on a time delay, and they package everything like the traditional broadcast, if you will, on NBC. But they also have now where if you have Peacock, then you're able to look at the if you went there. That's Johnny. That's the only way I knew what was on. I didn't study it to find out. Oh my gosh, appointment listening or viewing is what it's called, where I'm going to go and watch ice skating or whatever. I just simply went to Peacock and whatever they had on, And the same thing, I have YouTube TV. They have like a list of everything on my home screen of what was on at the time and coming up tonight at this time. But they had like prime time in Milan, where it was like Alan, it's a traditional ABC, NBC, whoever's carrying it, like stuff. So you maybe you missed maybe the live version, where it was live for those of us working. But then you always had a fallback where you could watch stuff and really enjoy it and not be, is anybody paying attention here? Like my bosses. There's a lot going on, but I really enjoyed it. It was
especially now with the technology the way it is, you can go back and watch anything you want to watch, which is great. I mean, if you miss something that you really wanted to see because of whatever reason, you can now go back at your leisure and watch whatever you want to watch.
No doubt. And Johnny, anyway, the Olympics coming up summer is in 2028. I've already created an account. I'm already ready to go. So whenever I get a chance, maybe I can do some live stuff there from the Olympics. But it's probably our last time, if we were honest, we'll ever have the Olympics in the United States. So 2028 is in Los Angeles for the Summer Games. And then in 2034 will be Salt Lake. So I think that would be really cool to go. I've never been to Utah, but I think that would be really cool. And maybe they'll let me do an honorary thing on maybe you and I, Alan, can do the bobsled and do a documentary or a story on that will go viral, I would think.
Absolutely. 2 Social Security male athletes in the bobsled. I think that would be quite a story. You and I would be, I'm going to be well into my 60s by that point, and you'll be knocking on the door, if not, over.
Yeah,
so that would be a tremendous human interest story if we survive the bobsled.
Well, maybe what they could do is they could have the Senior Olympics.
The Senior Bobsled Tour,
yeah. But anyway, we'll get back to ECU. I just wanted to mention that because that was there was a lot of great moments in there, and obviously we're not going to spend time on their fellas that are that want ECU only. I get it, but I wanted to mention that I think that there's times when, that's why we call it the sports objective. There's times when there's big moments in sports, and we'd be crazy not to talk about it. So, all right, Johnny.
Yes.
I have 2 questions for you. First, both of them from Kenny.
Okay.
Johnny, how brutal was that Pirate baseball loss? I guess he's talking about Friday night.
Ooh, yeah. That was hard to watch. I mean, I'll just be honest. But at some point, you realize you're not going to win. It was getting late. We got 10-run ruled. I hate to get that. That's just a moral. That's something that you just don't want to have happen to you. But, it all worked out for Saturday. But yeah, Kenny, that was just tough to watch. It just was.
And then Kenny wants to know, JR, how brutal was the Pirate basketball loss on Wednesday night?
Dagger. I mean, I think that took the life out of him.
That is, it's all Justin Butt's fault. I'm telling you, it's his fault. He said we won.
That was tough.
I'm joking. If y'all don't get my sense of humor, Justin didn't have anything to do with it. But it's sad because, again, the guys on the show, people watching, the ladies are watching, and all that, and listening, it's just one of those things where I think I wanted to get y'all, as I know, again, we're doing a baseball show, but anyway, okay, let me come back.
Well, I was going to say to Kenny, Kenny asked me, are the Pirates going to win 10 games in basketball?
Oh,
and I told him no, but I'm really, really wanting to be wrong. And so I think they will get it probably, but those last 2 games were both winnable, and you just can't lose games like that and think that you're going to make the tournament. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. Is it mathematically impossible now? We're getting close, aren't we?
No, you basically, I think, if I'm correct, you pretty much almost have to win out at this point.
Oh, yeah, I agree, Alan.
Yeah, I was thinking, I haven't had a chance. So
I don't have it in front of me, but I can't imagine, it's February 23rd tomorrow. So I can't imagine.
4 more, and there's only 4 more games, right, guys? Is that
4? Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's not like you have to win 20 games. We can win 4 games. The question is, will we? And the sad thing is, I think that what I was going to tell you guys is, it feels like with the team we had, we had guys that were individuals that were really good. And Johnny and I have talked about this. He'll probably kill me ad nauseum, but the chemistry is a little bit too. They're finally starting, in my opinion, they're finally starting to get where the games are competitive, where we're like, wow, we can win this game, right? And that's what I think that was so heartbreaking for Wednesday is we had that game. It felt like we had the game right in the bag. I mean, that's speaking of the thrill of victory and agony of defeat, man. That was agony like daggers.
Yeah. And Wichita State, that game, it was really apparent that Jordan Riley just said, hey, I got to win this on my own. I mean, he took virtually every shot and he did tremendous, kept getting them a lead or getting the game back in reach. And then, he had to be exhausted. He played 50 minutes almost. And, he stepped on the out of bounds line, but that was not a good inbounds pass. I'm not blaming him, but it's just, he has to do everything. Yeah. And he's been playing basketball for 45 minutes and now it's crunch time and he's exhausted, but it's him or nothing.
Yeah. You look at Charlotte. He had an average game, and when he has an average game, usually the results are not what we want. And an average game for him is 16, 18 points. Yeah. And, that's a down day for Riley.
No doubt.
And I've said it before. We talked about it at the beginning. I'm an unabashed Mike Schwartz fan. I think he has coached his rear end off this year and done all he could do. It just you have these. I don't know. I don't. Whatever happens with Michael Schwartz, I appreciate what he's done for ECU basketball because there's nobody any more passionate about it. You watch him on the sidelines; he's a whirling dervish. He's doing all he can do. It's just so unfortunate. The Wichita State, if we had won that game, shoulda, woulda, coulda, I know, but if we'd won that game, you're right there. You're right there with momentum, and you're right there mathematically. And now you basically got to pull a miracle to get into the tournament. And that's just heartbreaking from where this team was to where they are now. They've really come a long way this season, but, they're still behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
If you notice, the lineup is never the same. Like, as far as minutes played, who plays the most and that, he's trying to get the best matchup possible for each opponent. But he's got guys that don't perform consistently week to or game to game. Every one of them. You could Mbang, Delorier, Cocker, all of them, Reed Kaysen, they'll have a just tremendous game. And then so you give them more minutes and they do nothing.
Well, the teams that are successful normally have balanced scoring. I know we've got a superstar in Riley, but if you've got balance, if you've got 4 players and 5 players in double figures, normally you're going to be successful. And we have not had that consistency this year. We just haven't had it.
No, maybe we can get I think I mentioned this before. Let's get a waiver for Dimitri Gardner because he is somebody I would love to see come back. But, I don't know. Everyone is getting it, an extra year of eligibility. I hope he tries, but that's not going to happen.
And guys, we have so the games we have left. Here's what we have left. Okay, we have UTSA on Wednesday night.
Should be a win.
That's going to be at San Antonio at UTSA. We have Sunday. Man, we need a lot of people there. 2:00 game with Memphis. That's going to be huge. We got to get people there. You look at Thursday night, March 5th is Tulsa. I'll be there for obviously I can't be in UTSA. That'll be nice. But the last 2 home games are March the 1st, next Sunday afternoon, and then Tulsa next Thursday, March 5th. If there's some way that we can all be there and try to get that, because the cool thing is the very last ball game is at UAB, which is in the same town. The scheduling gods are favoring us because we have that Sunday game on the 8th, and then you turn around the tournaments next week, the following week in Birmingham. So, but we've got a
you get 3 out of 4, you got a shot.
Okay, I'm not saying this is accurate, but it's Ken Pomeroy. He uses analytics to take every team's statistics and then match them up. And so he gives us a 68% chance to win against UTSA. That's a good start.
Okay.
28% at home against Memphis, 16% at home against Tulsa, and 14% at UAB. But those don't mean anything. I mean, if we go out there and win, I'm just saying the odds are long.
Yeah.
You got to jump. You got to jump Rice first of all.
Yep.
And I believe if I'm looking at it correctly, you got to get to North Texas. So not only do you have to win some games, you're going to have some help.
That was Alan. You beat me to it. I was getting ready to talk about that. So we got to win out and have help. 9-18 guys overall, 4-10 in the conference. You have the away of 3-7, home we're 6-9, and neutral 0-2. So
it's not because it's this year, not because of what's going on, but I despise the fact that teams in this conference don't make the conference tournament. I think if you're a conference member, doesn't matter if it's ECU, whoever, I think you belong in the conference tournament. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Here's another thing I'm going to say. Right here. Here's what I'm going to say. And this sounds like, and let me be very clear on this. I think the women and men's tournament should be separate. I think that the women's, they're doing it to save money, and we're the American. And that's what I mean. I don't know why you have it's cool for those. Let me say this. It's cool for the fans because I love Kim McNeil. I love Mike Schwartz. So when my kids get older and they're not in school anymore, I'll take the time. I really love the basketball tournament. But the problem is that I feel like that's why we're not having all the teams in, because logistically you can't have all the teams in for the ladies and the men's because unless you have two different sites, I guess you could do that. But for me, put the women's tournament separate the week before and have the men's tournament the next week. And I think that would, and then like Alan said, you said it, and I wasn't going to talk about it, but to me, there's something special about, like NC State, right. Runs, and all of a sudden, they've won 2 or 3 games. They're hot as a firecracker, and they've had a tough year. And all of a sudden, they find themselves in the finals of the ACC tournament, and they had to win a whole bunch of games.
Right. They were in one of the play-in games 2 years ago. That's the thing. Basketball is predicated as much as any sport on momentum, and you could come into the tournament, catch fire, right. Win some games. So that's my deal with not. The ACC does it as well. I just really don't agree with it. I think if you're a conference member, you play a full season, a full schedule, you belong in the conference tournament.
I agree. And they're playing games like already Tuesday. You could go ahead, like for the ACC, for example, and the American, you can start on a Monday and have a whole bunch of games Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it's more content. Here's another thing. If I'm ESPN, that's more content that I'm giving you.
Yeah. So, can I make it unanimous here? Because Alan is, saying exactly how I feel. Every team should have the opportunity to stun the world and go on a magical run. No matter, some teams don't get it together until later in the season. Maybe they had an injury and now they're playing better, right. But they got, so many conference losses. Every team should have a shot. I agree, Alan. I agree, Dave.
And I will say this, Adam, and we'll move on. But the fact that, like I was talking about, I think this team is finally coming together. Maybe it's too little, too late. But I really, really would like to see that. And I hope I understand the world of college athletics now and the conferences having a million teams, too many in there. I understand all that. But thank you very much, Mike. He said good stuff. Thanks. Appreciate you, Mike, very much. And Alan will be signing autographs this Saturday at Tiebreakers. I think. Kenny says ton of respect this, but it's not working.
Well, what did Kenny say? I didn't see his comment.
Ton of respect, but it's not working. But my thing, let me say this to you, Kenny. I agree with you. You and I are in lockstep. Okay. I think we're 9-18. I looked it up just a few minutes ago. Okay, here's my deal. I'm going to tell you again. Joe Dooley was on Pirate Radio right after he was fired. And you guys know that's when the administration just lost it with me. They had, they just have me over in the corner now. They don't care. So, but I said, and Alan Vick was with me the next day after I lost my mind, and we were together on a media day or something. But anyway, he said something very prophetic. He said that we, the university, fire coaches every 4.3 years. Okay, here we are. We're staring 4 years in the face. Do I think that we do absolutely nothing? Absolutely not. The problem is not, and I'll say it again, I'm not getting paid by Mike Schwartz. I understand that it's a wins and loss business, okay? So I'm not naive. We're not drinking the Kool-Aid. I know that 9-18 is not getting it done. I understand all that. But Walter Williams, God rest his soul, I miss him a lot. Remember that, Alan, he said, I don't know, Johnny, if you heard him say this, he said, how many more projects do I have left in my lifetime? Meaning we keep firing these coaches. We're firing these coaches. It's a definition of insanity. We keep firing coaches over and over again. And Mike Schwartz has been very good to me, and you, Alan. He is a very nice guy. It sounds like I'm explaining I'm losing. I'm not. Professionally, he's an amazing coach. I've been to practices. I get the wins and losses. So I get all that. But I'm just telling you guys, the elephant in the room is not about his coaching. The elephant in the room is I want to see that. I want to say this, and it doesn't matter anyway. The administration don't speak to me anyway anymore. I'm one of the outcasts now, I guess, because I want to say, first of all, don't mistake my passion for anger. I'm not angry with anyone in the Ward Sports Medicine building. I love everybody, but I'm going to say how I feel. Nobody would watch the show if we just went over there. Oh yes, everything is great. It's raining outside, and I'm saying it's sunshine, or vice versa. So where I'm at is this should be a wake-up call to the administration to do more for basketball. Look at all this other sports. Men's basketball, let me just say this, and people won't want to agree with me on there. We need to be spending the number one spending team in the American. Notice, I think Duke spends like $20 million a year just on operations. Notice that I didn't say we need to spend the most in the country. Yes, we don't have that kind of money. I'm not being delusional. I'm not being unfair to the administration. But we need to I've asked this, I've said it a lot for the last 4 or 5 years out of the 8 that we've been on the show. What is it going to take for our administration there? And to be fair to them, they're not the first not to spend enough on basketball. This has been a problem as long as I've been pulling for the Pirates since 1985, 86. But it's time to spend money on basketball. Time to spend money on basketball, because guess what's going to happen, guys? Okay, let's say that it's a wins-loss business. We say, you're out of here, Schwartz. We bring another coach in. Bye-bye, whoever it is. And another 4 years, and another 4 years, and another 4 years. That's my frustration, guys. Is that
I get it, Dave. But you can't if someone's not getting results, it's not like you can say, well, we can't fire him because it's only been 4 years. 4 years is a long time. But Joe Dooley, I didn't want him to fire him. I did not want him to be fired.
He was fired because he didn't get along with administration. And
I liked him.
Yeah, so that was the problem.
He got us good players too,
Yeah, they're Tristan. Yeah, Tristan Newton. I don't know. He won a couple national championships he didn't, but Dooley, But anyway, that's my thing is, guys, to spend money on basketball. Let's take a long, hard look in the mirror on why isn't men's basketball working at East Carolina? It's not because of Duke, North Carolina State down the road. Cy Seymour, Alan, and Johnny said, we've had him on the show numerous times. He said, Carolina and Duke only get a few players. There's a lot of good players out there.
I'm a proponent of finding someone as a consultant who has been a winner. Doesn't have to be whatever, coach, administrator, whoever, and taking a long, hard look.
A deep dive
at the basketball program. And being completely honest, okay, I'm gonna look at every facet of the basketball program and give you an honest report of what is good, what is bad, what is indifferent. And I think we need an outside mind, somebody to come at it from a different perspective and just really look at that has really no ties to East Carolina. They just, they know the game. That they, that's if it were me in a perfect world, and I'm not criticizing anyone, if I said we're going to try to fix basketball, that's the first thing I'd do. I'd find somebody that has no heartstrings to my university, but they're going to tell me the truth, whether it may hurt, it may anger me, it may whatever, but they're going to tell me with an honest opinion and what they think is going on, and I'm going to listen.
Okay. What I would do differently is, I mean, I don't know this to be true for a fact, but I think it must be pretty accurate because it's pretty prevalent out there on X and other social media. We don't go after local kids. We don't work well with local high school coaches. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, look at Fayetteville Central. I mean, they're probably going to win another state championship this year. I mean, we've got really good basketball in Eastern North Carolina and have for a long time.
Look, I know we need to take advantage of it. And Dave, I just wanted to say one more thing. Garrett Blackwelder, he raised a ton of money, and then we had the matching donations. My question is, you're going to go after those same people after this year's results, after a lot of spending. Are they going to give as much as they did last season? I'm not sure.
We got to do it's all the above, guys. The promotion for basketball has never been there, and so let me say to the administration, I am saying as long as I've been watching basketball and being a Pirate fan, it's not just this administration. Okay, so we've got to do better for promotions. We don't do hardly anything for basketball, not like we do with other sports. They need to have different events, different things to really get the crowd or get the season ticket holders or something excited. And I think that when you're talking about, you beat me to it, Johnny, I was getting ready to say that, but I wanted to be respectful of you. I was getting ready to say that very thing. I know people I work with. I'll just say that they've never told me it's okay for me to say who they are. They are assistant coaches on a local Pitt County team. I'll say that. And guess what they told me? This was a few years. This isn't like in the last couple. This is pre-sports. I will say it's probably Dooley 2.0, Tom. What we need to do is there's been what I was told is they feel like that they just gave up on, our local kids because those kids were going, I know, I'm just telling you what the coaches, I'm not saying this is me.
Oh, well, JJ Miles. I mean, he's from Gary, whatever that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'm just saying the fact is you have Kinston that produces more NBA players per capita as far as a small town like Kinston, and look at all the great people they have. And here's what I hear. Well, Dave, those guys are going to North Carolina. They're going to Duke, blah, 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 this school, that school. Okay, let's say that you're Allen. I was going to mention Fayetteville Central, and I'm glad you did. That's your home school. That's Allen's alma mater. The third best guy on Fayetteville Central, whatever we have to do to, I'm not saying it has to be a 2-5-2 all-star team, but that's been an ongoing problem is we just write off Eastern North Carolina like we don't have a chance with those players, and we go after others. We still need to go after the other players, but we need to put an emphasis on the 2-5-2. That was one of the things I was going to tell you to work on.
Southern small town young men are predominantly boys. Okay? Again, they're great athletes, and a lot of them want to stay home. They want to be close to home. They want to be close to family. They want, and a lot of these players would come to East Carolina because they can go get mama's cooking, on the weekends, and they can go to the family reunions and the birthdays and all that stuff. So you can't tell me that there's a lot of kids there, and they would get playing time immediately. I mean, it's not like you ride the pine at Carolina, Duke, State, wherever. You would get, some pretty substantial playing time early. You'd be 20, 30, 40 minutes away from your house where you grew up. That's got to be an incentive to come to East Carolina and play not only basketball, but any sport.
I'll give you a perfect example, Alan. I'll give you a perfect example. Look at Holt Nailers. You called all those games. Remember how many Pirate fans used to go to the Conley games? just because Holton was playing, knowing that he was coming here.
Yeah.
He had a fan base before he even came to East Carolina. He's a local guy. He wanted to be a Pirate. If you have, I want to say it very clearly that I'm not expecting to be all Eastern North Carolina kids. Who are the best kids we can get, and they can like really do well for us, then get them. But when you don't even make an attempt at very little, I've heard that from a lot of different like local coaches told me that.
What East Carolina has to do is let's just say you get a 2.5 or a 3-star kid and you develop him and his game grows every year. And if he stays, and I know that's another topic for another time, if they'll stay 2 or 3 years, but by the time his second or third year rolls around, that's a pretty darn good basketball player.
Yeah. I forgot Brandon Johnson's from Raleigh and Jaden Gardner was from Wake Forest. I mean, there's two that they did pretty well.
Lebo. Yeah, that was Lebo for Gardner for sure. And I think it was the first year Dooley and Brandon Johnson left and went to Miami, and that was a huge.
I know, but still, you can't. I'm not saying you can keep everybody because you're not going to be able to, but get them here at least. You know,
Kyle says you can't develop kids anymore because of the portal. Well, here's the thing. I was going to say this. I've heard people. Here's what they say. Well, Dave, if they're really good and they come to East Carolina, guess what? If we have them 2 years, 2 years is better than 0.
Well, all you can do is make them the best ball players they can be while you have them.
Right.
I mean, that's it. I mean, you might only have them for a year, but you want to maximize all you can get out of them while they're here. I mean, that's what you do with any player, regardless of where he comes from or how long he's here. You want him to perform to his optimal level for you while you've got him.
Let me ask you guys.
Hey, you're giving Lebo credit though Dooley got Gardner here, not Lebo.
Lebo was right before he. I'll look at it again, but I thought
okay, you could be right, but I know that when Gardner was a freshman, I know Dooley was the coach.
Yeah, he was. It was a situation where he had already.
Okay, I apologize, Dave. Then you're correct, and I was just thinking I was not thinking correct.
What had happened is that's a miracle that we had, and you bring up a great point, Johnny. That's a miracle that we kept Jaden Gardner, because what happened was, if you remember, Lebo had a lot of health issues at the time, and I think it was his hip or something. And you could tell that very first game of 2017 season that a friend of mine and I were sitting on the bleachers and before they had the new seats, but you could tell that he was just in a lot of pain. And so basically what happened is Lebo did recruit him. Jaden Gardner signed and stayed with us and committed. He didn't have to. He could have, I'm sure, left us, right? But he did stay with us, and this was pre-portal too. So, but he stayed with us, and the good thing about it was that Dooley had him. If you think about all the players that Dooley, between the players he inherited plus what we had, there was a great group of guys. But anyway, I love basketball, and anything that's Pirate related, I try really hard. With softball, Shane Winkler's doing a great job. Tim McNeil. Man, 20. We lost yesterday, but 20. We are 20-8 in women's basketball. 20 wins, 8 losses. We're definitely making the tournament there. They've got a really good shot, guys. They're going to make it all the way to the quarterfinals, right? Off the top of my head,
that was a Rice team that has not lost a conference game this year.
Yeah,
and we took them to the wire. That was we played Rice as tough as anybody has played them this year. But by far, it was a tough loss. But Kim McNeil and the Lady Pirates, they're going to make some noise, I think, come conference tournament time. I truly believe that.
And by the way, guys, I wanted to let everybody know, if you guys can, but we have Alumni Association. We have a really big game. We have a big event where we're going to be there for the ladies. And that game is going to be against Charlotte. It is a 2:00 game on Saturday, the 28th, this coming Saturday. Let's get that place rocking. The ladies have earned it. They're putting a great product on the field. Product. I'm getting tired. Product on the court, and so they deserve every single person that goes there. And just like the men's basketball, I'm a huge fan of basketball. Period. the brand of basketball that Kim McNeil has when it comes to defense. The defense is smothering, very good defense, but looking forward to certainly this coming Saturday. We'd love to have a lot of people Saturday at 2:00. If you can make it, we'd love to have you. And want to let everybody know just a quick pitch for the Alumni Association. It's absolutely free. If you're an alum, you're automatically in. And even if you're like the great Johnny Robertson, for example, and you're a big fan, no, you are. I'm being sincere when I say that. When your greatest Johnny is, the guy knows like a lot about sports, and when it comes out, well, anyway, Alan's come, but we want people to come. So I want to give a shout out to everybody that the Alumni Association wants everybody to know. We have an Eastern North Carolina chapter that started in 2025, 24, I think, actually. But we want everybody to know to come on out to things, to our events. You don't have to be an alum. We want to make sure everybody knows that it's not an exclusive club. Like you have to show your transcripts to get into an event. We want as many people to come, and I would love to have several thousand people there on Saturday because my kids are going to be excited. I know they love to go to ball games, as you know, Alan and Johnny. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and just want everybody to know that I'll say it again on Thursday night. But I hope that we can get a lot of people there.
And I also wanted to mention as well, this is the Keith LeClaire Classic, and how much that means to the university and the LeClaire family, and what Keith LeClaire means to all in East Carolina. We need a huge crowd at the baseball games to honor Keith LeClaire and his legacy and what he's done for this university, and what an inspiration he has been to everybody for so long. So hopefully we'll have really good crowds at the baseball game, because this is a really, really special weekend that a lot of programs, don't have this type of thing. And they took a negative, losing Keith the way we did, and turned it into a positive for ALS and for the family and just for the university in general. So come out and be a part of the Keith LeClaire Classic for the coming weekend, please.
And by the way, that's a nice seg, Johnny, because Johnny, as you know, and Kyle and everybody, and Stevie, whoever can come, and Justin, sorry for the technical difficulties tonight. That's part of doing a live show stream. But on Thursday night, we're going to be previewing, as Alan knows, that's called a nice seg or a seg. We're going to be previewing on deck the Clark, Keith LeClaire Classic.
I wanted to mention, because thank you, Alan, for approaching that subject. People don't realize, well, I'm sure many people realize, but many people don't realize Keith LeClaire was only 39 when he passed away. He accomplished so much in his young life. And it's just, you think what might have happened if he had, not been stricken with that awful disease.
Don't want to start naming names, but Keith LeClaire, we lost Keith. And one of the guys that took great care of Keith was a guy named Nelson Cooper. And then we lost Nelson to ALS a few years ago. So it's a special weekend for so many reasons, and it's honoring the LeClaire family. And that's what it's about. I can't wait, Audrey and the family to come back. It's just, you talk about eyeball sweat. If that doesn't make you have a little eyeball sweat for the LeClaires, I mean, in a sad but a happy way now. But Keith LeClaire, just think about the legacy he has left and what he's done since he passed away, and what he's meant to so many people.
I don't think we would have the stadium because I've told this story before, and we'll try to see if Audrey, by the way, for people that don't know, is doing her residency at the ED at ECU Health. And so I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that she came back to Greenville. She could go in different places, but she specifically picked us in Greenville because of her dad and all that happened. And I can't imagine what they went through. Can't imagine it, but I'm very happy to have them back. I'm glad y'all brought that up. I was going to talk about it at the beginning of the show, that I was excited that we, in some respects, I think we take it for granted, not intentionally, but just the fact that we have it every single year. But we can honor them. And I'm just praying for, that's another event. I always want to see a lot of people there. Let's make it like a regional atmosphere. We have a lot to be proud of with that stadium. If you don't have Keith LeClaire, what I was going to say, Keith at the Denny's on Memorial Drive. Do you remember when we had the talk of the town, Alan, and we had it where we Henry took it to Denny's and different places.
Mhm.
So that was early on. I go all the way back to like Alan with talk of the town since the beginning. Keith LeClaire in a booth was with Henry. I was there, and he talked about Omaha. That, and no disrespect to Coach O, who I love immensely, personally and professionally, but Keith LeClaire, it was like when you listen to him, you understand why he got a lot of his players, because in that moment, I started believing that we could go to Omaha. And I had never really, to be honest, I never thought about Omaha, even though I knew about it. But he made you believe. And so I can't wait to do the show on Thursday. And Johnny, I know you'll have stats about, I'm giving you some notice, maybe some stats on some of the special stats. That's what I love about Johnny, is he has special stats about the things we're talking about, the events or the games or whatnot. And it'll be interesting to see some stats about the Keith LeClaire Classic on this.
Okay. I'll definitely start working on that when I get back to Virginia.
Yeah, but it'll be a lot of fun. And you guys, we're at 2 hours. I didn't plan on being at 2 hours, but do you guys have anything before we get out of here? I appreciate we had another big crowd. Thank you so much for that. We'll be back on Thursday night at 8 o'clock for On Deck. We'll be talking about the Keith LeClaire Classic and much more. And you guys, Johnny, I'll start with you first. Do you have anything?
Well, I was just going to mention, you were talking about the Alumni Association. Mm-hmm. The rally towels were a big hit Friday night.
They were? Okay, good.
Yeah, there were a lot of people that were waving them around. I mean, they didn't work though. They didn't.
So,
but I'm sure people that have them will be bringing them back for future games.
Yeah. And let me just tell you,
I definitely kept mine, and I'll be taking it to the jungle. So that was a good idea.
He doesn't have a lot left. I think Dan Hunt, who is with Alumni Association, by the way, he's an alum. I think he graduated in 15 off the top of my head, 2015. Great dude. He was standing out there in front of the right near the box office. I think he's down to 200. What happened was we were supposed to have him for the Military Bowl, and they didn't send him to him till like in January, like after. And he said, I'm going to, he was trying to create the atmosphere, but if you'd like to have one, let me know, get it with me somehow. There's some people asking me for them. I've got friends and different folks asking. So just let me know. We don't have, I do know for a fact, the Alumni Association, he told me there's like 2 out of 1,000, they only have like 200 left. So if you want them, let us know one way or the other, like through social media or whatever.
They're very well done. Like they're thick and they're big, and I think they really look good too. So
no doubt. And I love that on there. It says Pirates versus the world.
Yeah,
that was really cool. Definitely what Pirates are all about. AV, do you have anything before we get out of here?
No, sir, I do not. I enjoyed it, gentlemen. Thank you so much for having me. As always, it's always a lot of fun. Looking forward to Thursday night.
And I got to give you a plug. Let everybody know your day job. You're helping us out with these shows, but Beach Boogie and Blues. I want to for people listening.
Yeah, it's 105.9 in Greenville, 102.9 in Kinston, 95.7 in New Bern, and 101.1 in Jacksonville. I do the afternoon drive show 3 to 6 on Beach Boogie and Blues.
All right, we appreciate you very much, and he does a great job. If you haven't, the music is fantastic. I love that music.
I'm not just saying this. I'm gonna listen for sure.
Yeah, you can stream. Just go to beachboogieandblues.com. No space.
All right, Alan. I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, and let me know that you're listening, and I'll be glad to give you a shout out and play your
song. I don't need that.
Hey, be glad to play your song.
Stats Robertson.
Absolutely, man. I know you like me, Johnny.
I don't call myself that, but in case anyone's listening, I don't ever refer to myself as that.
Yeah, well, I know you're like me. You love polka, so I'll be glad to play something for you.
All right.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Roll out the barrel. All right. It'll definitely be a big hit in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. They actually, I do like the music. It's just that something I would not listen to all the time, but it actually is pretty good.
Well, the thing about polka is they can only count to 3 for some reason. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3.
Lawrence, all right. We had a great time, guys. Thank you so much again for everything. Don't forget about Thursday night. We'll be back with you. Good luck to the Pirate men. Hopefully we get a win there on Wednesday night. We'll see how that goes. And we'll be back Thursday previewing, obviously, also the baseball game, too, with the College of Charleston. Busy time of year right now, so I don't want to forget that at Segra Stadium. But on Thursday, we'll recap that and get you ready for the Keith LeClaire Classic this weekend.
Hey, Dave, I hate being the guy that extends the show. When you already asked me if I had any final thoughts, I got another one. I looked up, and I forgot to tell you this, you and Alan, and everybody listening. I actually think, Alan, we can get to the tournament winning 3 of the last 4. I looked at the standings. I looked who everybody has left in men's basketball.
Okay.
I don't think we need to get 4. We could burn one of those 4, but it better not be UTSA because we got to win that one. Yeah. And then 2 of the last 3, and I think we'll be in at 7 and 9.
Well, I'll be pulling hard, man. I'm pulling for the Pirates, and if we can sneak in, the back door in that tournament, you never know.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, if we do win at UTSA, which we should, that means we'll have 5 conference wins, and 4 of them will be on the road.
Yeah,
so we got to do a little bit better at home.
And so many of them have come recently as well. So
yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that on Thursday nights, and hopefully everybody has a great week. Please be safe, and we'll see you next time on the Sports Objective Extra Innings right here on Sunday nights at 8 o'clock. Good night, everybody, and as always, go Pirates.
You're watching the Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.